are in the month of builds and we're in the grow hour. Carol, did you have anything come up over the weekend or that you're working on? I know we were kind of talking about data entry. Was there anything that you're focused on building or growing this month that you want to mastermind anything around?
Um, Always working on building and growing my Fit to Breathe program, and I had a little bit of a meltdown over the weekend, and the gray weather didn't help any. You know,
Yeah.
it was like, okay, I'm just gonna just sit here and watch it rain. You know,
Mhm.
but it's like
Breathe, breathe in the fresh air.
I was like, so anyway, so yeah, so then I signed up. There was this thing online, or I got an email about it from your You Define Wellness. Have you heard
Oh,
of that?
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, they
Yeah.
had one on I just watched the whole thing on setting up your come on, Carol. My brain is not working this morning.
Go
Printing the
confidently.
handouts and everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, the
Best
name of
client
it.
builder.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So
Best
I'm
client
going to be
builder.
working. I can be working on that later today too. I know what my best client is. I just don't know where to find them.
Mm.
So my best client is someone who's still working, who has a family, has kids, has lots of responsibilities, um, but who also has been either a smoker or works in a place where there's a high risk environment for their lungs and are struggling with lung disease, and they're
Mm.
newly diagnosed. So they'd be in their 40s or 50s. And I'm like, I don't think they're on Facebook as much as I'd like them to be. You know, they could be a mom,
Yep.
or they could be a dad, you know.
Hmm.
So that's where I'm going to work on really redefining that and making messaging toward that.
Yeah. That messaging is really important. So something I just thought of too, that Facebook could be where your person is, and there
Hmm.
actually could very well be Facebook groups dedicated
Right.
to past smokers, right? Building their lungs back up. There could be groups that you could be joining and just searching for in Facebook. If you haven't done that yet, I would encourage you to just search in the bar for some keywords that you use, like um,
COPD.
yes, there you go. COPD groups. There's got to be Facebook
There
groups
is.
for that. Okay, you're already in
Yep.
there?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So that's what my recommendation would be, because it could be there, but then you can also be seeing what they might be talking about and where they're located, what they're into, or asking more questions directed towards the messaging that you're coming up with. So the fact that you already are in them is great, and then use the data that you get from the building your best client paperwork, the worksheets that you're going through, and use those to put the messaging in those groups and find your people there.
Yeah. They also suggested, like, other than Facebook, what other I could do LinkedIn, and they have groups.
Mhm.
There's other places that there's groups, and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize. I thought it was only Facebook that had groups. You know?
Oh, yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Well, that's awesome. Yeah. So COPD, look for that, for those groups, and see what you come up with.
Yep. Yep.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you for that.
No, okay.
Yeah. Did you have something you wanted to mastermind about, Carol?
Well, as I'm doing this spreadsheet thing, I'm like,
Yeah.
do I really have it as, really have it as a spreadsheet, or do I just have it as a chart? You know, I think
Yeah.
I have it as a spreadsheet, but
Yeah. I love how you were sharing that you had to make some adjustments on the template and how you were placing your data in, because there was a
mhm,
couple of changes. And what I liked about that is that you caught it um when you were starting, because sometimes, right, like we're growing so fast in different areas that we haven't adjusted the little details, that then we're like, oh, now we got to go back and readjust like your template. The fact that
mhm.
you were doing it for the first ones right away and realizing you needed to add a category in there, I thought that was super um a great way to be attentive to the details in when you are collecting the data, so that you can be growing the awareness in your feedback.
Yeah, yeah. I thought I just put an extra one in, and I thought I messed it up, and I'm like, no, I just was re-looking at it. I think we're
Yeah.
good.
Right. So that's really cool. So how, when you're building with your feedback, what are you going to do with the data that you put in the spreadsheet or the chart? What are you doing with that?
Well, we're collecting it so that we can tell that we have positive results for our program. And we're also collecting it to give to the students who participated, to let them know where they excelled and where they might need to work a little harder. Like the harmonica results came back really well on this one guy, but this other lady, she didn't do so well. So maybe she wasn't practicing as much, so.
Yeah. So it's feedback for them and for you.
Correct.
That's awesome. So
and then for future funding, we can say we have this amount of data because we're a grant funded local program. So
yeah. So you're growing. So that's actually the way that you're going to be measuring the success in your program.
Mhm.
Nice. So do you need to like show them documentation, or is this for just to be able to have the data and know the progress for yourself, and then if for any case you would need it, or do you need to document those things to share?
Well, my understanding is that the grant funded program, we might need that data to share to get future funding. And it's also our project director, our founder, she wants to know whether we're doing a good job, whether this is something that we should continue doing, so those are the reasons. And I just want it to be, are we successful? Are we really helping these people? And so
yeah,
that's where I'm at.
That's awesome, because it helps everyone to know where your growth is in there, so that you know where to accelerate, where you need more support, where the tools that you're giving them are benefiting their specific experience and what
Yep.
they need and what their benefit is.
Yep.
And because this is the second round for this program, you're starting out, so gathering all the data that you can, and developing where you need to grow and how it's supporting them, I think is super crucial for a starting out project, especially when it's grant funded and all of that. So that sounds like a smart way. So are you using like an Excel?
Yeah, I'm using a calc. I don't have Microsoft Word or anything like that. So I'm using alternatives like Open Office, and they have a calculator. And so it has A, B, C, D on the top, and then numbers down. I think that's the calc or the spreadsheet. And then I can put calculations in it. So I can, say this column times this column equals that column, or, so I think it's a spread. Is that what a spreadsheet is?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not well versed with the
I'm not
verbiage
well versed
either.
on any of that, because I went to school way before they had these programs. So
yeah, true. I'm building my confidence in knowing my own numbers and data. So spreadsheets and the difference between them, I'm not sure on the wording, but I think that is what it would be.
I always get mixed up between spreadsheets and databases. Like, is a database the same thing? Do I put stuff into a database and then do the calculations, or is it just a spreadsheet?
Yeah. So Carol, I was just thought of a question too, because you said you're director too. So how many people are on this project with you? Do you have a team?
Right now it's a team of 2 plus a director, a program manager. And hopefully in the fall we'll have a third person. So.
Okay, cool. So a question that I thought of is, because we're in the month of build, is how did you go about building even your partnership, the one that you have the partnership with right now, and building forward? Like, how would you go about building your team and knowing, that it's a strong fit for the program?
Well, this happened because of the nonprofit that I work with. We work on collaborating with other health providers. And so I met with the music therapist, and she was just like bubbling with ideas, and we sort of connected, but it's not been a great fit because her style and my style are totally different. I'm organized and thorough and on time and all these things, and she is not. So this other person hopefully will be a better fit and take away some of the stress that I've felt and also I'm doing everything because she doesn't do much of anything. So how to balance out the team so that we're not, like, I'm not stuck doing all of it. But then again, I'm a hyperachiever and a slightly perfectionist, and so I kind of maybe don't want to let go of the reins,
Right.
because she might say, well, let's just do it this way. And I'm like, wait, we did it this way in the past. We have to be consistent. We have to do the same things, or we have to decide when we change, pre and post. We can't change in the middle, you know?
Yeah. Clear communication, especially when you're in a partnership or a collaboration, the
Yeah,
clear communication around what the expectation is, when to pivot, when to make changes, when to adjust.
right.
Those are super important so that you are on the same page. And I like the idea of, having the flexibility to know when it is good and when you can adjust.
Yeah, I've been resorting to talking with the program manager to make sure we're staying on the same page, because it doesn't always work. But, so that's been my challenge. My challenge has been to work with this person. So um, moving forward, I may not work with this person because it's not been a good fit.
Yeah, it's really important to have that feedback too, to know
Yeah.
that. So that was a great discussion. Thank you, Carol. Okay, Carol. So we're talking about building your vision with your program, and how do you build the vision, the explanation of your vision for your program? And I'm wondering if you do this with your participants. Have you shared your vision for the program with them in hopes that maybe they know someone that also needs the program?
Yes, I have. I've talked to them a lot about, a couple different times during the class sessions, that I have a national program that I'm offering for people. The main problem I've had is the price point and knowing what to offer them, because they're getting this for free, right? And so it's like, I do have a national program, but there will be a cost for it as opposed to your free version. And the variation is that instead of 8 weeks and then the evaluations before and after, it's only 4 weeks, twice a week. And there's just going to be surveys for evaluation, as opposed to, I could do maybe a march in place, or, but I can't do something because they're distant. So yeah, so I have talked to them about that and spread the word that way. Yeah, so my vision is to help people. And so I brought down the price a bunch, and I'm like, I don't want to give it away, but I also want to help people. And so trying to find that line of cost effective, what are people willing to pay for their lung health? What are they willing to pay to learn more, to be healthy,
Yeah,
And
and I love that you have you'll be able to get the examples and the reviews from the participants. Did you get from your first group when
yep,
they went through?
yep,
Yeah,
got
good.
testimonials.
Awesome. Yeah, building that up, right? That takes time to
Mhm.
go through the processes, get them through, and get the feedback, so that you can have proof, right? That this is worth your investing in because it's progress in building your lungs back up. So that's awesome that you have that started, and that you already make it part of your routine in your program to showcase that and talk about, what the next level is for other people that they know that need that support as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeehaw.
Okay, and we're back. Yeah. So we're in the final part of the second hour in Grow. So Carol, we've been talking about data entry and growing awareness around our vision. Has anything spurred up in this last hour that you wanted to mastermind around with what you were working on?
No, I think I got it all done, so I'm good.
Yeah.
How
Yes.
about you?
I love it. So something that I was focused on in the last hour was growing awareness, I guess, really would be how I would sum it up. Awareness around how we're growing the OPWP community, how you can be tapping into using the resources more. that are at your fingertips, like coming into these hours. I know you were sharing with me, Carol, that you were procrastinating on the data entry that you just completed. And that's where you're like, I want to get in here and get it done. And the growing part of that I was focused on is that every Monday, I'm going to show up and give a recap and then get some energy and excitement around moving forward in the week because it's Monday. And there's so many things that we have going on in our lives that we can miss things really easily. So in the growth process of getting awareness around what this community and platform has to offer our members to help you grow your business and your life in general, it isn't only about business, but getting focused to the things that we need to have intention around so that we can grow in our own purpose as individuals. And we can do that as a community here.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
While you were talking, I was thinking about how I went to bed earlier last night so I could get up earlier to be on these, because sometimes I don't plan on doing anything before 9 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock, you know.
Yeah.
So I put them on my calendar as well. And I'm trying to put every day at least 1 to 2 hours on my calendar that fit into my schedule. Knowing that if I schedule an appointment or something else comes up, I will have to kick it out. But I just thought I'd have them there to remind me to get on.
Yeah. I love that you shared that you set the intention the night before, right? You're like, okay, I'm going to put this in my calendar so that I can go. I know that my intention is I need the rest. I'm going to get the sleep. I'm going to go to bed a little bit early so that I can wake up prepped and ready to start your Monday with intention. And that started yesterday, right? It started the night before. And I love that because that was actually a mindset thing that I was working through for myself this morning. My walking partner is away, and I know that she's not going to be there in the morning today to walk with me. So I was like, okay, last night I also made the decision to say, I'm going to sleep in a little bit here, but I'm still going to do this, right? I set an intention before I went to bed, how I wanted to start my day, which I think is critical for everyone watching this to realize what we're saying, right? We set an intention before we went to bed to how we wanted to wake up and start getting the momentum, especially on a Monday. I think that's really important, or whatever the start process is back for your, work days or what you're doing in a business. So Carol, I love that you said that you started with the intention last night, and then you knew that putting it in your calendar was like another note, right? This is another tip.
Yeah.
So making sure that we're scheduling the time to
Gotta go. I love ya. Bye.
You too. Bye, Carol. Scheduling the time to have for ourselves. And I love the idea of an appointment, right? This can be put in your calendar as an appointment with yourself, right? So think about that. I'm setting an appointment for myself to say, during this time and this time, I'm going to show up for me to either get something completed, start something fresh, or build something, or give the space and energy around your self-care, right? So I love the idea of making sure that it's set an intention before you go to bed with how you want to prep and work your day from the beginning. So it does start with the night before. Make the decision and then move in the choices that support the decision that you're growing in. And get it on your calendar and have it as a placeholder to know what you're working towards, what you're growing in. Because I have things on my calendar that I still haven't fully did or showed up for, but the goal, it's not quite an intention yet, right? The goal is that I keep building my my confidence towards what that intention will be. But in the meantime, I have it as a placeholder in my calendar to show up for it when the time and availability is there, that I don't waver on what the choice is that I can make. So if an appointment doesn't happen and something moves, the pivot isn't making me like a tornado and thinking about what I can do otherwise. I already have the plan in place because I'm prepared in how I want to show up in this time. And that supports me to help me plan. So what are the things that you are doing that really are helping you grow in that mindset and that preparation for how you want to start your day? What are the action steps that you take to move forward with the mindset, especially right away in the morning, right? When we may not feel like doing the things in that moment, but you make the decision ahead of time. What are the action steps that you take? I would love to hear from you in the comments. So this is the hour of grow, right? I'm all about helping you grow and connect in the areas or the focus that you want in your life intentionally. And the question is really around that, right? So that's my expertise, how to help you grow in your mindset, in your business, in personal relationships, in your self-confidence, whatever it may be. This is the time that you have the ability to ask a mastermind question. If there's something on your heart to share or ask for support in, this would be where you can do that. So does either one of you have anything on your mind to mastermind around for these magic minutes? No? Okay, I'll throw a question out there. I'll get us rolling here. So because this month, the month's theme for August is all around build, right? What are we building intentionally? What are we actively putting focus to build in our life or business? So, you know, how I look at building is like, I'm really focused on building the vision and awareness for OPWP, right? That focus with the YouTube channel coming out publicly is really to build more awareness around the benefit of showing up as we are, being able to say what we need in our life, and then turning around and asking for it, right? It's one thing to be aware of what we need. It's another thing to actually ask for what we need. And then it's another thing to be open to receiving what we need. So that's really what this platform is about, is the growth in who we are as human beings, to know that we can be vulnerable, know that we can be ourselves, know that there is support here in this community that is willing to give encouragement to what you need. So I would encourage you to, during this hour, to think about, what do you need to focus on growing and building in your life or business, that this community can be specifically used to support you through this month of August, because that's what we're here for. This is where you always have someone, and we're holding the space for you here. So we'll see you. So before we went and took action on our intentions, I posed the question about, where in our life do we want to intentionally be building the growth, personal, business, a specific area of our life, and how are we taking active action to be building towards what that area is. So did anything stir for the two of you that were here before, or Suze, in that question that you would like to mastermind about in these last few minutes?
I would say one thing that so Brian and I are being intentional about in growth is adaptation, like being able to adapt to what our days look like. With Knox, we just moved into my parents' home, so the home that I grew up in, and now making different parts of it our own, but then also Knox being 2 years old, being confused of like, okay, now I can't just go into Nana and Papa's room whenever I want because we're there, so like where he had reign of the house when he was alone with them because they're Nana and Papa. So like,
right,
he got spoiled. And now we're like, nope, there's boundaries around different things. So really how to grow in that, in adapting and the transitioning and the emotional stuff that's going along with that, but really learning to, in our day-to-day life, grow in adapting to that. So that's what came to mind, is how to help him grow in transition and adapting.
Love that. I love adaptability. That is like that is a great word for, being flexible and being able to pivot and grow in the process of doing something. So the first thought that I had was, I know that it was a suggestion about a picture book for
Yeah.
him. So in the boundaries, that was something that I thought of, is like the pictures of where Knox's space is.
Yeah.
Specifically like for him, where is Knox's space? Where are the good places for him to be, himself, in the backyard, in the basement, like wherever that is, to have the picture for his space. And then maybe specifically, where's grandma and papa? Like, where is their space? And where is your family space? Where is everyone's space? The dining room table or the kitchen or whatever that looks like. Where is the everybody's space? And what that looks like. I have to look for it to share too. There was some, I do a positive parenting solution course education for really just growing in positive solutions. It's for parents, but I tell you, every time I listen to it, I'm like, I know adults that need all of this. I know adults that need all of this. So
Yes.
taking what we're learning in there and implementing it for us as adults, and knowing that we're teaching our children of those things. There was something around, being clear about our intentions about the community space. What happens in this community space? What is our voice volume? What is good for this space as everyone is here? If you have certain toys that you don't want someone to play with, it doesn't stay in the community space, it's in your personal space, right?
Yes.
And as adults, we have that too, like, oh, that was my snacks. Well, your snacks need a separate place. If there's specific things that no one else has opportunity to indulge in or take part in, then you put those in your space, which is boundaries for them to learn what is theirs and what is everyone's and what is able to be shared, that kind of thing. So that was something that was coming to me that I've heard. Does anyone else have anything that's coming for you around this?
To me, there's a balance with, I like the adaptability, but then there's also the balance. Like I have set for myself some goals for something to happen by the end of this year, right?
Yeah.
And so then you kind of try and backfill and to hit those goals. So it's adaptability marked with the boundaries of those parameters of time, and then openness, to be open to what comes up along this journey, right? So that you don't miss out on something really good because you're too set. And that just really goes along with the being adaptable, resilience of it all.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that you said balance equals adaptability plus boundaries. Like that, I think in equations, I think of like solving things. And so that's what I heard from you, is that balance equals adaptability plus boundaries. I like that. That's a new equation in my life.
Yeah. That's amazing too. That's a really clear way for me. And I didn't think that I was a equation person, but working with Susie, this is like how we're developing things and how I get a clear vision of what it is, because that's easy to digest to me. I can think about, what are my boundaries? How can I be more flexible in them? Well, it's still in alignment, which will equal balance, because I tend to be more black and white thinking. And this is something that's came to light for me this year, and that Susie's very colorful. She likes to have that flexibility, and I am boundaries, but I love flexibility and being adaptable. So I love the equation and being able to visually see that and know, like, that's how you can have balance. That's a great way to do that. Thank you for that mastermind. That was so fun, Sus. Thank you.
Yeah.